Did your mother ever tell you, don't panic if your car is stuck in snow? Use kitty litter. Just keep some in your car. You never know when you're going to need it. Put it under your tire. Just drive away. It works every time. If you don't have kitty litter and you're really in a pinch, use a car mat. Place it under your spinning wheels. Drive away. It works every time.
Hey, thanks for joining in this morning. It is another snowy, icy weekend and a time where it's difficult to be together, but wanted to offer just a few words to get us through this weekend and lead into the next week. So last weekend we got an ice storm. You know, it started out, they were calling for 8 to 13 inches of snow, and then it ended up with a lot of ice. And frankly, as long as I've been living here, I've never had that much ice, and I didn't have the wherewithal to navigate like our driveway or our development or frankly Wildlife Road or State Park Road. So it was not until late on Thursday that I was able to venture out of the house. And, you know, I didn't want Tom to be driving Miss Daisy, so I just hunkered down and luckily had a lot of like paperwork to do, year-end reports. We applied for 2 grants for West and a lot of busy work and detail-oriented things. But then after I got all that done, my brain was pretty fried and I needed people. I needed, even if it just meant like talking to the grocery store people, I needed to be around people. And so Tom was going to help me get out of the driveway. Well, he is from Chicago, which gets a lot more snow than North Carolina does. And so he kept telling me, oh, the roads are fine. Oh, the roads are fine. Well, his definition of fine and mine are 2 very different things. So I want you to take a look at these pictures. And this video that you're going to watch in just a second, this is me driving home from work on Friday. And the roads were still not fine. When I would come across these big patches of ice that were yards and yards long, it would just completely freak me out. I had no idea like how to drive on it. I was so scared if I was going to give it gas, then my car was going to go sideways. I was afraid and I was stuck. You know, being stuck is something that I've been thinking about a lot these past few days. And, you know, as we've been talking about reclaiming our life and going through this series, the first of the year, it made me think about the things that we've talked about together. And I want to invite you on this Sunday where life is, at least here in North Carolina, a little different. And for those of you worshiping remotely, digitally, other places, I'm not sure what your weather is, but here, there's going to be a lot of us that are stuck again. And so I just wanted to remind you that God does some of God's most beautiful work when we are stuck. It doesn't mean that we're alone. It just means that we're at a place that we can't just, you know, accelerate and get out of quickly, because when we try to do that, maybe things will go sideways. We can't go backward because that gets us nowhere. Sometimes we just have to sit and we just have to wait. So while we wait, spiritually, this is where our faith gets tested, because we recognize that, you know what, at the end of the day, sometimes effort alone does not fix everything. So instead of looking at being stuck as a problem, maybe embrace the stillness. And maybe see the stillness as sacred. And maybe understand that God is not going to just yank us out of the stuckness, that God's timeline and God's sense of urgency is not often what ours is. But that in the stuckness, there's a sacredness and there's a stillness in which God meets us and God works in us. And if we allow God to, God fills us. So maybe it's grief that you have. Maybe it's fear about the future. Maybe it's anxiety about the state of our nation and all the things that are going on there. Maybe it's just fear about who you are and learning to come to terms with your own identity. All those things, those voices can get really loud when we're stuck. But instead of running from them or trying to accelerate through them, just be with them. Because guess what? At the end of the day, the storm that's going to come and dump more snow on our driveway, it's going to melt. The driveway will be the driveway that I can drive on without help again. And it will be a new day. As followers of Christ, we believe that the worst things are never the last things. And as a saint of West, I like to refer to Mary Nanny as that, taught me the worst things are never the last things. And the last things are the most beautiful things. So wherever you're stuck right now, just be stuck and let it go. And listen for that voice of God, that presence of God, because God meets you there. May you stay safe and warm. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye. Yeah, one more thing. I've never closed a sermon with the word bye before. It feels a little weird to just pray here in the corner talking to my plant that is the iPhone stand. Preaching remotely like this is not my forte. Sorry, I'm just not a digital evangelist. But I care about you. I care about our journeys. And something was telling me that we just needed to talk today for a little while about being stuck. And remember that our biggest people of faith, Moses, Elijah, the Israelite people, they all got stuck at some point. But God met each and every one of them there, and God meets us here. So be safe, take care, and go in peace. Amen. So Tom predicts that I'm going to say that I shoveled the whole driveway, which is not true or accurate, but I did as I was helping shovel the driveway because he did shift number 1, and I decided it was not fair for him to do the whole thing and me sit in there and just watch TV. It reminded me of something that I said in the video that I filmed yesterday about being stuck. God does God's best work sometimes when we're stuck and we're still and we're quiet. And it's okay to be stuck in our grief and in our sadness and our anger and our fear, but it is not okay. Sorry. It is not okay to stay there. And so I thought about that a lot while I was shoveling or trying to help shovel the driveway. You can't stay stuck. And so I want you to think about that. Find God in the stillness, but then try to get unstuck.